All right, what's going on, everybody? We back. Episode 7 of Unheard-of with myself, Evan, my cousin Nick here, and we decided to bring back Miss Tiffany Wright because she, her insight, gotta love it. So, no, we've got a really fun episode for you guys today. Productive, but fun. We're gonna talk about dating in 2020. And everybody loves that topic. But before we get into that, we just want to quickly acknowledge this is the first episode since our new president-elect, Biden. Joe Biden. I was about to call him John. Since Joe, I was going to call him John again. Hold on.
That just proves how much he literally does not pay attention to politics.
I'm telling you, bro. Maybe I'm just tired. I've never messed up Joe Biden's name before ever. But yeah, our new president-elect Joe Biden won the election. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's not so much that Joe Biden won, but that Trump lost. So we good here. So moving along, dating. In 2020, man, it seems like it is something that is so difficult to understand, yet we always try. And we always try to get it right, but we rarely do. So I want to talk about the reasons why today and the things that go into dating, what makes it different today than it was years ago, and things like that. So what's going on, y'all?
Nothing much, man.
How's y'all? It's been a hectic week, of course. How's it been for you guys?
Definitely emotional roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Obviously with the election going on, but Christmas is around the corner. We got the holidays, so it's good times, and trying to look at everything good that's going on.
That's what's up. Don't be skipping over Thanksgiving, man.
Well, yeah,
Come on, man.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is like the stepson.
It really is.
I have some pretty immaculate self-care practices. So I've been off social media up until yesterday and deleted my social media for the week. Wasn't watching the news. Did extra meditation, sound baths, journaling, just stillness time. So my week was fine.
I'm gonna need a list of all of your stuff because I need it. Okay.
I had no stress except the stuff I gotta carry from my clients. But other than that, I was good.
I feel it. That's what's up. Well, I mean, hey, let's get into it, y'all, because I'm excited about this topic. To be honest, I love talking about this stuff. Because it just, there are certain things that ruffle my feathers a little bit and they get me going. But, I think deep down, and I mean, I used to be the most hopeless of hopeless romantics. But, experiences will change that in a brother. You know what I'm saying? Somewhat. I'm still a hopeless romantic, but I'm a lot.
Oh, you definitely are.
Yeah.
I like to call myself a hopeful romantic.
There you go.
I don't use that term. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. I'm a hopeful romantic. So.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too, but it does definitely feel hopeless most times. So, but look, I mean, this is the thing. The mindset I feel in dating today is so different. It has to be than what it used to be. I think personally from what I've seen in my experience, and I think I'm guilty of this too. And it's hard not to be guilty of this in 2020, but when you have countless dating apps and they're free, you've got social media, all this stuff, I think the mindset now of people, they don't put their full effort and give somebody their full attention, especially when they have 3, 4, 5 people blowing up their phone on a daily, and especially in pretty women. Because, I don't think men get that type of attention. We get some, but it's not on the level, women would never let us know that we are so popping that we can just have our pick in the litter, especially with, an attractive woman. Whereas women, it's take your pick, and when you're getting that kind of attention and it's just effortless, it's how can you focus on one person, because you're always wondering, is the grass greener over here
Right.
or over there,
Right.
and all that. So I just think the mindset now is just so different. Like, people just feel like, well, if you have one flaw at all, I'm gonna be looking for better elsewhere. You know, and it's like I said, I think even myself, I think I may be guilty of that sometimes, and it's toxic. I think
There's way too many options.
Don't throw around the toxic word.
I
Just cause.
Look, I feel like it is.
Well, okay, so I definitely am a particular person, but to me, it's not toxic. To me, it's because I know myself. I know what I want. I know what feels aligned for me, and I'm also a very spiritual person, so I can see or meet someone for any kind of reason and like connect with them or not connect with them.
Right.
And so I'm not particularly looking for a flaw to swipe over them, right? But if I just don't feel it, or if it just doesn't feel aligned for me, because I have very specific interests and I need to know or feel comfortable that we mesh well, even if we don't have the same interests, like I'm going to surpass somebody, you know? So I think there are some people that are very specific and are judgmental, but I think there's a difference between being judgmental and knowing like what fits for you.
Right.
In fairness to you, though, I think your mindset going into dating is more interior as opposed to exterior.
Absolutely.
I think what he's more so referring to, and I think with our society now, whether you're millennial or Generation Z or whatever, like, we're so shallow. Like, it could be...
He's referring to external flaws.
Right.
Got you.
It could literally be like, you know, he's 5'11", not 6 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That height
Like,
thing for women.
Yeah.
That's a tough blow.
It's real. I mean, luckily I don't have to deal with that issue.
My thing
but
is...
poor Nick.
Hey, you know what? Let's get it. Let's get it all the way straight. I'm 5'9", okay?
That's average, right?
It's average, man. I look short compared to you. He's 6'3", so it makes me look like a shrimp. But you know, it is what it is. Like,
that's funny.
But no, I think my thing when it comes to now with social media and dating apps, I think we're overly exposed.
Oh, for sure. It's too many options.
It's way too many options.
Too many options. It's overwhelming.
Like, even I found myself on dating apps maybe a couple of years ago, like, you know, when I wasn't in a relationship or whatever, and I, you know, entertained them or whatever. And it's just, you mindlessly scroll through all of these different people that you would have never seen in your everyday life. You're only seeing them on an app because of the access.
Right.
So you're seeing people, like back then, they weren't seeing all these people.
Right, of course.
You're seeing more people
Absolutely.
nowadays than you would have 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of convolutes your mind a little bit
Oh, for sure.
into thinking that you have more of, you know, a possibility of dating any type of girl than otherwise you would.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, it only takes one. Like, if I were to run into somebody like this on the street, or who knows, maybe one day I become something, and now my spectrum of women or whatever is just wide as all hell.
Yeah.
Right.
Then, you know, you feel like you got a chance with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's this, and then you tie in this concept. What do you guys think about the concept of like wanting what you can't have, and how that makes things more difficult for people in dating? Like, those who didn't want you before, who you might have always wanted, they show themselves and let you know they want you once you're off the market or something like that. Once they see you're doing something or something like that, this wanting what you can't have.
That's just a human thing. I mean, honestly, people, there's just like this reward system that goes off in your mind. It's like, ooh, yeah, let me conquer that.
That challenge, that challenge.
You know, and let me prove other people wrong, or let me prove to myself, or, you know, whatever. But I think going back to mindset, intention matters.
Yeah.
Right? So why are you going on the dating apps? Why are you even trying to date? Are you just trying to be near somebody? Are you trying to work out some validation issues you have? Are you actually looking for commitment? Are you looking for just a hookup? I mean, the intention matters the most, I think, and that's the problem with dating apps, is that you have so many people, but different people are there for different intentions. And then when people try to craft their, dating profiles just to get attention, you might not be matching or interacting with people that have the same intention than you. So then it gets convoluted even more, right? You're trying to put yourself out there just to get the attention from somebody, but they might want something different than you.
Right.
And
now,
it becomes really complicated.
Yeah. Now, do you think that it's possible for people like on these dating apps to have multiple intentions? So, in other words, just be open-minded and take kind of what they can get, or what comes their way. So it's like, look, they're open to the, if there's a woman who's just like, look, I'm just trying to have a fun time or whatever, and they're like, all right.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, the next match is somebody who's nice and wholesome and it's like, oh, this is the type you bring home to mama type of thing. And then you're cool with that too. Yeah. Like, do you think that people are lying to themselves if they say they can do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see these people in therapy all the time. What do you mean? Because even with that, to be able to set an intention, you have to know what you want and where you are in life. It's totally possible to have the open mindset and go with the flow and be like, yes, whatever comes up, I'm okay if it turns into just friends, some type of business opportunity,
right.
Just short-term dating, long-term dating, but you have to be honest with yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of times people are not 100% honest with themselves. There's people that say, I don't want commitment, but that's not because they don't actually want commitment. They're afraid, or they don't think that they actually deserve, or that they can actually attract somebody that really wants to be with them. And they end up interacting with people, then they catch feelings, then some sabotage shit goes on, and then they have to take a break and then get back into it.
Yeah.
Right?
And because of that, their standards are so low, so they get up in these situations where it's not serving them, and they're in abusive situations,
and then people get mad unnecessarily. I feel like people lie to themselves so much, and in addition to social media, I feel like the music even more so, it just creates this fantasy for people to actually believe they don't fucking care about feelings or being connected to people.
Man. Right.
All the savage stuff.
Right.
Or all the I'm gonna get your girl, I'm gonna get your dude, just give me this, just give me that. All this transactional stuff. All this music that talks about romantic interaction being transactional. I think it fucks people's heads up. Honestly.
It really does. Nah, I feel that 100%.
There's too much ego in dating, man.
Exactly.
Way too much.
Exactly. Yeah. I've always said women, I feel nowadays try to outdo men at being savage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're it's they would rather play a dude before they let the dude play them.
Right.
And so now it just becomes this competition
it's
of
understandable.
Yeah, but it's not every dude is out here trying to play you like that.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But this is
and
where
vice versa, right?
This is where the mindset is messed up, because it's you're not dating to actually form a genuine connection.
Yeah.
But exactly.
You're literally dating, like you said, transactional. I'm trying to get something from this person without giving anything.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think obviously with the whole ego thing, that's where you get into okay, I'm gonna talk to multiple people and I'm not gonna give this person my time, even though they actually like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's not cool to actually give someone your full attention.
Right. And me personally, how my spirit is set up, I don't even have big groups of friends. I'm just not gonna be fucking with a whole bunch of people, just interacting with people like that. I'm just not gonna do that. And it's definitely not gonna happen dating wise. There's too much that my mind needs to do throughout the week to waste it on nonsensical like conversation and interaction with people. So I'm not going to even do and I don't even do I'm going to be talking to a whole bunch of people at the same time. That just doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, even when it comes to your brain, like, people don't even know how to multitask as well as they think that they do. And that's just actual tasks. So when it comes to managing people's emotions or, you know, providing some type of support for people or some type of connection for people, like, I think there are some people who can disperse that really well. But for the most part, that's just not how most humans are built. And I think people lie and like force themselves into that, and they either end up getting fucked over or they fuck over somebody else.
Did you learn that though by multi-dating, or did you kind of always knew that you weren't?
I feel like
that?
I always knew that, and then there was a point of time where I was like, okay, let me try this, and then I was like, yeah, this is not a line for me. Like, this is just not me.
I'm gonna agree.
And that was it.
I'm gonna be real. I've been there. You know, there have been plenty of times where I've dated, or I wouldn't say dated, but like talked to. It's nothing like doggish about it. Right. It's not like I'm leading anybody to believe they're the only one or anything like that. But when you're talking, like I said, you got dating apps and stuff, you will literally match with like 5 to 10 people in a day.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like those who can hold conversation. I like to talk. You know what I'm saying? If you can hold conversation and reciprocate that, then we're good. Yeah. And now we're off to the races. Right. And for those who want to meet, I'm always down. You know, I think that's part of my problem, to be honest. I need to like chill on that. Like, I don't need to be
tell this man.
Yeah, bro. I don't need to be meeting whoever, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but again,
my time is valuable. I'm a busy dude.
Exactly.
And so I don't need to be wasting time meeting, you know, one-offs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that goes back to what I'm saying about intention, knowing your intention, right? Like, mindset and intention is very connected when it comes to dating. If you're meeting people just for the sake of meeting people and you're trying to expand your network, okay, then you probably just don't care, you know, how it actually ends up. But if you're a person who actually does want a relationship, like, that looks a lot different. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people, they don't really know what they want, so they do the I'm down for whatever thing.
I'm going to be honest with you. Hold on, Nick, my bad.
You good.
I think that, so like for me personally, I do want a relationship. But if I'm being real with myself, I think there are times where I feel like, okay, I'm in a good space for it. But then I have moments where I'm like, I don't know. Right now,
resistance.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's like low key, like it's just a lot that I have to do on my own right now, where I'm like, I don't know if I feel like committing all my time to this person or whatever. But I'm also very picky. So like I try not to be, but I'll find myself like I may match with somebody or meet somebody, and I'm like, they may not be the 10 that I want in my eyes. You know, all that stuff is subjective, so don't let me, you know, be out here sounding like that. But I'm saying, like, in my eyes, they may not be the 10 physically or whatever, but they're cool. Let me see what their personality is like. And so I'm open to go meeting somebody and thinking, well, maybe I'll like them a lot and all that. And I've been in circumstances where that's been the case, but then at the end of the day, I may wind up being like, well, I still don't want it.
But you still have some type of understanding around like what you might want, right? I think the problem is people get on apps for a whole bunch of different reasons, and they don't even know what they want, even when they start interacting with somebody, and it just kind of makes it more complicated, right?
I mean,
a lot of times people just be lonely. And they just trying to have somebody stroke their ego or feel better about themselves or get some validation. Sometimes people just be fucking bored. And they like, this is an activity that would be similar to you getting on a game on your phone. But instead of getting on a game, you get on an app. And then somebody can entertain you by having conversation. And then when you're done with that conversation, you don't talk to them anymore.
It's very common. It's very common.
So it's also like, again, do you know why you're on these things?
Right.
I'll be honest though. I think in my experiences dating, I've been in a couple, serious relationships or whatever, but whenever I've gotten into a relationship, I wasn't necessarily ready to get into a relationship. I think,
I swear, relationships fall in this dude's lap. They really do.
listen. I think what happens is you, I mean, my mindset going into dating is let me get to know this person, right? Let's go on a couple days. I like to be inexpensive at first because, excuse me, I'll be honest, man. Most women, and I hear it from a lot, like they like,
just want a free meal.
They just want a free meal,
Yeah,
good time,
sure.
whatever. At the very least, they're gonna get their dinner paid for, and they don't gotta give you nothing for it. So I resent that. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna go to a park. We're gonna have a conversation.
I feel you.
We're gonna go to the beach.
And
we're gonna do whatever.
The real ones will always be cool with that too.
Exactly.
They'll always be cool with it.
So I kind of came up with this rule, like, hey, first couple of days, I ain't spending no money.
Yeah.
We're going to get to know each other and see how down to earth you are. Because that's the most important thing in this day and age. People aren't down to earth.
They're not.
You got a lot of
They're
superficial people
Hella.
that don't give a damn about trying to get to know somebody on the inside.
Context matters. We live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Context
True.
No, that's true.
True.
Very
Okay,
true. Very
so
true. Because if you go out to the
very much
Midwest,
matters.
you go out to Nebraska where I went to school.
Yeah.
Bro, I graduated college. How old am I now? 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, 4 years ago. 4.5. 4.5 years ago. I have not had a serious long-term thing since then. Although recently I had something that was a little more long-standing, but it never reached, exclusivity.
I'll be honest with you though, man. Can I just critique you a little bit?
It's my fault. All right.
No, I gotta say this. I think you date too much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree.
I'm serious.
I
think
agree.
you date
But my
too
point. This is my point. My point is, in all that dating,
Uh-huh.
I've never come across a woman like who. Well, I won't say never come across a woman, but typically it's like
It's harder.
It's so much harder.
Yeah.
In Nebraska, where I went to school, these girls want to marry you within like 2 months, bro.
This is something.
I'm telling you.
This is something that I pointed out to him a couple weeks ago because every time I've gotten out of a situation or relationship, I've literally made an intentional decision to not talk to any women for like a few months. It's intentional.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I gotta decompress from this.
You
I gotta
fucking detox
No,
yourself
I'm-
from people. It's
I'm
true.
I'm
if you
serious.
don't.
And like, because when I'm in a relationship, I give my all to it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not half-assing it. So, whether that's taking care of myself, like I'm trying to, get things business-wise going, or, I'm trying to just take care of
Whatever it is,
myself,
yeah.
right? Become a better version of myself.
Right.
And so I've always told him, like, listen, man, like, take some time for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you constantly trying to meet somebody who's your it. And it's like, maybe God's trying to tell you to slow down and get
Yeah.
to know yourself better and be okay with being by yourself for some time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we're so oversaturated with
Yes.
energy all the freaking time.
Yes.
Like, we always got to have somebody's company.
Right.
I'm cool with being by myself for a
Right.
little bit if that means that I'm going to be better at the end
Right.
of the day.
And not saying that this is you, Evan, but like that brings up the loneliness thing.
Right.
Like if someone is not attached to a person, they don't know what to do. And they don't really know how to spend too much time in their like soloness. So they automatically want to attach to somebody. It doesn't matter if it's for a hookup. It doesn't matter if it's just exchanging conversation. And I think that so many people are afraid to spend time by themselves, like productive time by themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it shows. Like it really, really does show. To be able to enjoy your own company and then be open to someone coming into your life that can match that enjoyment is so much different than hoping to connect with someone that can enhance your life so much or bring something to you or make you feel better about yourself,
Right.
So I think part of the issue with dating now is like esteem issues, honestly. And because generations before us, the purpose of dating was to marry for the most part, right? So that was the intention. People weren't focused on their self-esteem. They were focused on,
getting a wife, getting a family, or a husband,
right.
building a family and creating stability
Right.
for many generations before us, right? Now that we have the opportunities to do self-reflection and personal growth, folks don't take it and they lean into just any type of stimulation that they can get from somebody to make up for what they don't have in their life. And I think that's what makes a lot of stuff toxic. I mean, one of the things that I find most bothersome is like the whole ghosting culture. For me as a therapist, all that means is avoidance. And you have issues expressing yourself. You have issues putting down boundaries, and you have issues being honest with people.
Yeah, I think you're disrespectful when you do that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And people be like in the past, I've expressed just discomfort with people doing that, and when you feel like it's like unwarranted.
Yeah.
And people have told me so many times that I'm wrong to feel that, like, this person doesn't owe you anything and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, time out. I don't care if I am walking past you on the street. You do owe me courtesy.
Yeah.
It's called human decency.
But it depends on people's values.
We've
right?
lost that, though.
If respect is not something that you value, then of course you're not going to think that you owe anybody respect. And again, that goes back to knowing yourself, right? So like how you navigate the dating scene is very much connected to how you see yourself, how much you know yourself. There's a lot of people, respect is like conditional.
I'll be honest though.
Yeah.
I
You know
think,
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I only respect you if you do this, or if you this kind of person, or if this has happened. It's not just like a flat rate.
Yeah, or you've got to give respect to get
Yeah.
respect.
But
Like, no, how about we just all give each other respect?
Yeah.
let's
No
make
matter
this,
what.
Let's make this clear though. If you are actively talking to someone and you spent time with them, you've exchanged conversation and time, and you think that just completely disappearing from their life and not giving them any sort of courtesy or respect for their feelings is okay, you're emotionally disconnected.
Right.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
If you could do
Definitely.
that and not give a damn about nobody's feelings,
Definitely.
Absolutely.
you're like, I'm sorry, that this heartless culture is just so
It's
beyond it's
mind blowing.
It is.
Yeah.
It really
It is. And it's like the unfortunate part about it is that I have found myself, after years of really hating it, I found myself falling into it. Where it's like, because of what,
It's just normal.
it's like what
might as
people are
well.
making it,
Yeah.
people are making it the norm. So it's like, okay, this person, that person, this person did that to me.
Right.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. So
hurt people.
Yeah. So it's just like, look, I mean, but at the same time, I'm not the type. You know what I'm saying? I can't. There becomes a certain point where you and me being involved with each other means that I do owe you that courtesy of, if I no longer want to date, you're going to know. Like, I'm not just gonna dip on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, like, at the very least,
Especially
like, hey,
if you know they care. Like,
exactly,
they like you.
exactly.
I think that is great that you are open and communicative, because I think that says a lot about a person.
Yeah.
You know, when people do we can just remain friends. I mean, maybe most of the time they don't really mean that, but at least if you sever something in a respectful way, you don't burn a bridge.
Right.
Right. Like,
Exactly.
because you actually never know.
You never know.
How your paths may cross, or like what could happen to your relationship, even if it's not romantic, right? I'm a person that I'm not necessarily like friends with my exes, but like, even if they did something to me, I don't burn bridges, because people make mistakes, people grow, people shift, people change, and you just never know, again, how your paths may cross, right? So I'm a person, regardless if I'm ending a relationship that's romantic or platonic, like, I want it to sever clearly. Like, I don't want it to like be ugly. Now, ugly might happen, but for the most part, like, I don't bring chaos and drama in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's usually not how my relationships come to completion.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, whether it's ugly or not, that is all dependent on the circumstance for me. Like, I'm not gonna let you completely disrespect me in the way that you end things or whatever. So that means if you cheat on me or you come at me a certain way or whatever that is just unwarranted and disrespectful, then it might be ugly initially. Now, I am very forgiving. Basically, I'm the type that once something stops bothering me, I'm willing to make amends, you know, but I may need my time to be like, nah, forget you.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
But over time, I mean, I've always been, to be honest, I've been known to be the type to remain friends, even though I may have rough patches with people. Eventually we'll get past that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
It just depends.
I gotta ask y'all this, because going back to the respect thing, you know, when we're talking about respect and dating, I feel like upbringing has a lot to do with how you see, you know, the opposite sex or whatever, you know, sex you're dating or whatever. I feel a certain way as far as how, especially young women, when they're children and when they're teenagers, are being raised to think about men and how they are.
So give an example.
Okay. Just the idea of, like, you know, whether they have a big brother or their father telling them, hey, guys ain't shit. You know, all dudes want to do is play you. Or they going to try to,
Grandfather.
you know, get whatever. Exactly. They going to get whatever out of you that they can, and then they going to break your heart. Right? And while there are people in the world like that,
Women are doing the same thing to men.
no, exactly. But while there are people like that, I think it's problematic because you're already conditioning someone to go into dating with a preconceived notion.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
You are already not respecting who you're about to try and date.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I think for me, that's where the being hopeful romantic is like a good thing.
Right.
Because, you know, grandfather literally would say, you know, these niggas, they just want pussy. Fuck these niggas out here. They don't care. Girl, you better get your this, you better get your that.
No, that's true.
Like, he
That's
literally
true.
would say that all
No filter.
the time.
Yeah.
I'd be like, but Papa, this ain't no fucking Disney movie. Like, he would do that. He's the one trying to push me to be, you know, a
Just
pessimistic
hard, yeah.
realist, and I'm like the optimistic realist, right? So thankfully, my hope for romanticism, you know, never created like that kind of jaded perspective.
Right.
But it is like a thing, you know, that a father or even a mother, especially a burdened, bitter, angry, divorced,
if she's
left,
single,
abused mother might say that to, you know, a daughter, like, you know, these, watch out for these fools, basically, right? And so upbringing has a lot to do with it. I mean, I get people that I work with all the time who have intimacy issues, meaning like they have challenges around vulnerability, around expressing themselves, around trusting people, around like just being their authentic self with people because they're uncomfortable with how a person they're dating is going to treat them or what they're going to do. And, you know, when you, between like having a parent in your ear and also just kind of like not having the tools to actually relationship with people, it becomes really, really difficult.
But that's because of the parents. I'm gonna tell you why.
Not all
but
the time.
but here's the thing: women are taught how to be strong, how to be independent, how to be hard working, all of those good things. They're not taught how to love a man.
That's true.
They're not taught how to love. They're taught how to be completely independent, not have to depend on a man.
Challenge
When
that.
what I have never.
Yeah.
I have never seen.
You're also not a girl.
No, I
Or a
hear you.
woman.
I hear you. But as far as women that I've either come across or who I talk to, they all have, or not all, a lot of them have this very bitter feeling about men. This
But
preconceived.
that's probably because they was done wrong by a man.
No, but they're also being taught. They're being taught at a young age that men ain't shit. I'm telling you.
Well, it depends
That's
on the
what it
household.
is.
It depends on the household because I will say that, you know, if you grow up in a very, as a lot of black folks do, grow up in a very Christian, you know, kind of thing, a lot of parents teach their girls to be of service to men, and that's how they teach them to love.
In this generation? Or in
Still,
the
yes, very much still the, well, you got to make sure you know how to do this, you got to make sure you know how to do that, make sure you can take care of this, make sure you can take care of that. Like, there are still, again, we're in LA,
Right.
so you have to remember, like, this is still very different than the South, from the Midwest, from the East Coast. Like, how LA is extremely different than most of the country. I'm telling you.
LA,
Like,
I'm telling
you go to other
I be
places,
wanting to move, bro.
People try to be like LA.
Yeah.
Right?
But y'all don't want that
was
problem.
cocky? I mean, it wasn't cocky.
Nah.
But, you know.
But it's true, though.
Try to,
It's
like,
true, though.
emulate the lifestyle and stuff, you know?
It's true.
But for the most part, like, women are still, like, put in this thing, this pathway of, like, what to do to get them in. Look at any YouTube. I want you to look up YouTube.
I think they're being taught the wrong things. Clearly,
you will see
though.
all these men who are relationship coaches and professionals teaching women what to do to get a man, to keep a man. You rarely find men targeting other men, telling them how to get a woman and keep a woman and nurture a woman.
True. That's true.
Okay, outside of how you need to be the alpha male and have all your shit together. Like, women in so many ways, shape, and form are breeded, are molded to be of satisfaction and pleasure and, like, whatever a man wants. So I'm really going to challenge that, because both can exist. You can get the men ain't shit. Right. But also, girl, you better make sure you got this together and make sure you got that together, or you look like this, or you dress like this. Right. I remember a friend telling me when I was in college, like, ooh, girl, I see your little back roll. You better get that together because ain't no man gonna want you.
What?
Yeah, girls really be doing that.
You know,
I mean, y'all I would definitely say you guys have more pressure on yourselves as far as from a societal standpoint, and what even just what fellow women put on you guys to, like, you know, be a man's, like, perfect woman.
Yeah, because even the strength thing that you're talking about, on the flip side, if you have girls who grew up in a household, not saying that the parents had a healthy relationship. If the parents had an unhealthy relationship and the mom still says, strength for that girl becomes, I stay in a relationship no matter what happens.
So that, I guess that kind of brings me to, I mean, we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but why do you think it is that relationships of the past there's so much higher success rates in marriage and all, like, pretty much everything led to marriage back then, and they last. Like, in 2020, like, you might as well have been married forever the last 3 years. Yeah. Like, whether just dating or not, like, people in decades past, they could date probably a year or two, get married, and last for six. I know,
like under 6 months.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and still last 50, 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
Can I bring up something? Is it possible that we've complicated dating?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
Okay. The reason why I'm saying that is because he's talking about just why things are different nowadays than back then. I feel like social media has complicated it.
Exactly.
Dating apps have complicated
Definitely.
it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, even, like I was just going to say, we can take it as recent as my freshman, sophomore, junior year of high school.
Yeah.
None of these things existed.
Right.
The most we had was
MySpace.
Yeah. Twitter was just coming out.
Right.
Facebook, but Facebook at that time was more so for like adults, and still to this day is not necessarily for dating, except for if you use it specifically for that. They now have like a dating portion or whatever.
Right.
But that was more for like networking, catching up with old friends, things like that. Now,
Literally just social network.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, even MySpace, well, MySpace actually might have been my first taste of like meeting girls I didn't know
Right.
and being like, hey. As a matter of fact, I had a girlfriend that I met on MySpace back in high school.
Oh, wow.
But but overall, it was you go to school with a bunch of people, you see somebody you like. It's very simple. I like you. You like me? All right, cool. You want to go out with me?
Yeah.
You mean like go out on a let's be together.
Let's go back to the ego thing. What switch a lot is, well, I don't want rejection. So let me go this path that ensures that I won't get rejected. And that is, well, I match you, you match me, we match together. Great. That increases my chances. I don't have to take the chance of going up to somebody on the outside, in the world, right? Because I don't want to deal with rejection, right? And then you had more women starting to have this sense of empowerment, like I'm going to approach men. And so I feel like over the years there's been this total shift where you have more women who actually approach men.
Shout out to Bumble.
That approach men than men that approach women. And when men do it, they do things that are so subtle so that they don't get their ego blown away.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you this. I think that in terms of like these, people turn into these dating apps and stuff, I just think people have set their standards now are just way too high. People really set their standard to absolute perfection. Like you can match with somebody and still get ignored as if I'm coming up to you on the like
Right.
we've already solidified we're attracted to each other. So because I say, hey, how's it going? How was your week? Whatever. I wasn't exciting enough.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
Let's go back to the question you asked about like what's the difference in the times, right? In terms of like relationships lasting or marriages lasting.
Yeah.
So part of it is definitely, the overstimulation, the options. But I think that people are developed as people very differently now than they were, right? Because take me. I'm a woman early in my 30s. I'm an avid traveler. I have several degrees. I travel by myself. I do a lot of activities by myself. I'm an established author. I have a very large friend group. I'm very high energy. There's a lot of things I do by myself. Talk, girl. There's a lot of things I do by myself. There's a lot of exploration I love. I love camping. I love doing outdoor stuff. I can dress up. I could be, bumming around the house. There's a lot of things that I do on my own. And so I need someone that fits that. My profile would not exist if I was looking for a partner in the 1970s. Right? So the concept of me being a developed person, whether it's my professional life, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, that's a very new concept. People didn't take all that time for themselves. It was how can I get stable? How can I build a family? So you don't even have all these extra factors to think about.
It's
right?
true.
So you commit, right? And commitment looks like we're gonna stay together no matter what. Because people have a different sense of identity now, they have more entitlement around what they feel like is a good enough option or not for them.
Definitely.
Right? If I don't want to deal with this, I don't have to deal with it, right? So I'm going to leave. If this person is not giving me what I want, giving me what I need, matching my this, matching my that, I'm going to leave, right? People have ideas around the possibility of human existence outside of I need a partner for stability, and those options make them leave relationships.
Yeah, that's true.
Thinking that there's more.
Well, it don't even have to be a more thing, right? Because for me, as someone who's very well-read, who's very spiritually inclined, I'm not going to be in an unhealthy relationship with someone who doesn't know how to communicate. Also,
True.
I'm a fucking therapist, and I'm not about to therapize you either. I'm not about to teach you shit.
Right.
So you need to like come with some type of degree of emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence in 2020, whew, I mean, that's a flip of a coin, okay?
Yeah.
So there's also that, because you're not going to, like, fuck shit up in my life like you do for the common woman. It's just not going to happen, because I'm going to see right through that stuff, you know?
Right.
Which also means I'm less tolerant of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so for me, like, having a person that is emotionally intelligent or intuitive or open, honest, empathetic, expressive, those are things that would be considered like high stake things and high standards looking for someone. For me as a person, this is just how I function.
But like I said earlier, you're an anomaly because you're not concerned with, like, I've literally seen when I was on dating apps, I remember seeing people's profiles saying like, be original, like, or don't say, hey, how are you? Like, say, I'm like, what?
What do you want
What
me to
is
say?
wr-
And you're not telling me anything about yourself in your thing. Like,
do you expect me to come up with a Fresh Prince pickup line or something? Like,
Right.
if I just want to ask how you doing, like, what's so wrong with that?
Exactly.
It's like dating has become petty. It's like
for
little
sure.
petty,
Oh,
like,
for sure.
if someone breathes on you wrong, it's like, I don't
yeah, like I just
know
don't
what I'm saying?
understand how women have decided that they know you by the way that you say, hey, how are you doing?
Literally.
Like, you have no clue. Woman,
you
I could
say-
be ready to show you the world.
No,
If you
that's
say, hey, how
silly.
are you? They might think you boring because you
Right.
say, hey, how are you?
That- exactly.
Well, that's what I would say to you if I'm
Exactly.
in front of you, I'm in
Exactly.
your face.
Hey,
That's
I'm gonna
true.
give you.
Absolutely
I'm about
true.
to give you the game. You may need it because you may not need it because you don't need it right now. But I'm gonna give you the game.
This guy.
Look, man, if ever you become single again, okay,
Uh-huh.
switch up your hey, how are you to hey, how's the week treating you so far? You know what I'm saying? It just adds a little. It just adds a little flair. Hey, they respond way more. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so simple still, though.
Listen, man, I'm 24 going on 45. I've been doing that, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I don't like how are you, because most people don't have an expansive emotional lexicon, and you just saying fine to me or expecting me to just say fine is not gonna do something. Like, I'm literally gonna tell you how I'm doing.
But this
Wait,
is the
wait,
thing.
wait,
and I think that if you actually answer someone and
Well,
tell
that's
them
true.
how you're doing, they'd be like,
To be
okay,
honest,
that's cool.
I would never greet some. This is me personally.
I'm
I would
just
never
saying-
greet with hi, how are you?
But I'm saying why some people might not like
No,
that.
I know.
I-
My point is this:
Joking,
the simplicity.
but-
It's the fact. Yeah, look, I personally would never say hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah, I'm just being
I'm
Do
good.
you really
Good. How are
care?
you?
Like,
Well,
are you
it's like,
really
yeah,
trying to
it's
have a
like good. How are
conversation? 'Cause
like?
you probably not really
No, it's
really.
more so
Yeah.
like if I was to say, hey, how's it going?
It's just
Yeah.
the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
the
like if I
basics.
say, "Hey, how's it going?" Now you can say, "Oh, work, blah 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 blah." How about for you? But a lot of women would take a, "Hey, how's it going?" and be like, "Ugh, "He's boring."
Hey, look, man,
it's like-
you got.
What?
Listen, I go by the 3-strike rule when I'm talking to somebody. You give me 3 one-word answers, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fine. Oh, how's the week going? Good.
Yeah.
One more, boom, you out. Like it's
Yeah.
just that simple.
To be
'cause
honest,
I'm-
you only get 2 with me, but I don't
But
play.
something I do want to mention that you, I don't know if we were talking about this off camera or on camera. I'm not sure. But yeah, I do a lot of couples therapy work, and when I'm doing work with couples, the thing that I try to push for is building friendship. And I feel like a challenge that a lot of people have is they don't actually know how to build friendship with people. They're just looking for transaction, whether that's sex or, like I said, the validation thing, or like some people who automatically just want to jump in a relationship with somebody and they don't spend the time just getting to know people.
Right.
Now, for people who are more like loosey-goosey around like dating, if they have the idea like, oh, I do just want to like see the kind of person you are, like build a friendship, like see if we could be friends, like I think that is a little bit more wholesome than just being like, oh, whatever happens because when you're with somebody that is looking for a relationship, they automatically think like, oh, there's no possible way I can get in a relationship with this person.
You just reminded me of the thing I was
Okay.
going crazy trying to remember.
Okay. Good.
So, yeah, because it relates to this. my thing is like, okay, so do you think that people really can? There are always people like you see it on dating apps too sometimes, but just in general, you'll have people who be like, I just want to be friends first and then see where it goes. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion on that is that's not possible. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Because
well, you're saying if you get on a dating app and then say that
just in general, look, if you are if you are trying to be friends, knowing that your intent is to potentially date, you can't do it.
Then you're not an honest friend.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, look, if I'm looking at you and I'm like,
even if you're like, hey, I might smash.
Exactly.
Right. That's not a platonic friend.
That's
Yeah,
not
I
a friend.
agree.
So it's like, look, if we're going to be, I do believe that it's possible to have a friend and accidentally stumble into falling in love with them. I do believe that's possible. It's less likely because usually the reality is usually the ones that we just call friends are the ones we're not that physically attracted to. And I don't believe, bro, look, I don't think that
I'm about to push back on that.
Look, bro.
I have friends that are girls that are very attractive.
Yeah,
bro,
when I was in
your
college,
girlfriend you used to call your friend. I told you were going to end up with her. Did I not?
Hey man, why you attacking
I'm
me?
just saying, bro. I'm just proving my point.
No.
I want to challenge that because like when I was
a lot of energy.
When
coming
I was
I'm
in
just proving my
college,
point.
No, when I was in college, I actually had a lot of male friends, and I don't have them anymore because most of them are married.
Right.
And their wives don't know me.
So they decided that they can't any longer interact with you because
That is pretty standard when people get married.
no, of course.
Most of the time, if the person has people of the opposite sex, their partner wants them to not interact with them, or that's like like you notice as you get older, if you have people of the opposite sex, like those relationships will like.
Now I'll tell you this:
even relationships with people who are the same sex, like once people married, those things change.
I'll tell you this. I mean, I feel like
changes.
if my friendship with this person of the opposite sex is strictly platonic and it's that way on both ends, I'm not talking about the friendship where one person wanted to be with the other, but the other person was like, no, we're better as
like
friends. I'm talking about real friendship.
Yeah.
And my significant other or wife or whatever was like, nah, I don't want you. We're going to have a problem. Me and my significant other. Because you're not going to dictate who I can be friends with.
You might be sleeping on the couch though. Bro.
Nah, bro. I'm sorry.
just saying,
You're not if there's
actually
no
just pretty
threat.
standard.
Not if there's no threat. If there's a threat in any
Yeah.
way, if I once had feelings for this person, they once had feelings for me, I get it. I'll be honest with myself and with you about that. But
You must not have a lot of married friends.
one of my best friends is married.
One of your best friends.
The other, no, but
I'm
my
literally like
circle.
one of the last people that I know that are not married.
So
Look, my whole circle is either married or in relationships. I'm the only one who ain't.
So
you know
do
what I'm
you
saying?
do you think that it's not possible to be friends with a female who is an attractive female?
I do think
good
it's
question.
possible. I do think it's possible to be friends, but
Because I want to give you this instance. So like my
Look-
current girlfriend, right? The difference between me and her versus like some of my other friends is that I first was trying to be with her.
exactly.
Right? Over time, we became friends out of, whatever.
We became friends because she didn't give you a chance, bro. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
his
No,
point.
okay.
That's my point.
No, that's
That's my
fair.
point.
That's fair. That's fair. But
I'm just
But
saying.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. When it comes to friendships and relationships, you're not going to be friends with someone or in a relationship with someone that you don't have an attraction to. It could be mentally, it could be spiritually, it could be physically. You're friends with someone because you actually vibe with them on some sort of level.
Definitely.
Right?
But physically can't be the way.
No,
That's my opinion.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
It's
is
like
that
how organic is the relationship if you having thoughts of having sex with them?
Exactly.
well, I have friends who are attractive women that I've never tried to talk to,
right.
who we're literally just friends. They're
Right.
cool people, right? So
But if you were a single man and they were like,
No, I still
"Dang,
wouldn't try."
You know what, Nick?
no, I still wouldn't try.
You looking real daddy-like today.
This guy,
You know?
this guy.
If they did that to you,
Nah.
you're going to be like, no, we're friends. No,
No,
bro.
No.
You a dude at the end of the day. You a man, right?
What does being a man have anything to do with it?
You're gonna take that, bro.
Well,
You're gonna take that if you're attracted to them.
So the whole point of me just bringing this up was just like, I think that it is healthy.
Yeah, you're trying to start a fire.
Right. It is healthy to build like actual friendship connection with people.
Yeah.
Even if you have
Definitely
some desire, right? Because a lot of the issues that I see when I'm seeing couples, whether they're married or not, is like they don't have a friendship. Mm-hmm. You know, and
no, that's important.
And they don't know how to just enjoy each other's company. They don't really understand the ins and outs of each other's world. You know, they don't give each other the benefit of the doubt because they're just not enough friends. Like if y'all got in a fight or we got in a fight or whatever, you know, there's more chance that we're gonna be able to repair that.
Get over
it. Because you can give me the benefit of the doubt, vice versa, because you know me as a person, as a friend, as a cousin, whatever.
Right.
But when you're just dating people and you're not really getting to know them and like connect with them, by the time you start getting in a relationship or get to a marriage and you do have conflict comes up, it's harder to repair and it's harder to see the best in the person. And so you automatically see this person as your enemy. And so you end up like separating or divorcing. And that goes back to another reason why I think that relationships don't last as long, because people don't have respect for each other or they don't know each other well enough to be able to repair through conflict.
What I think is a big problem today in dating and what people are lacking is like nobody is deciding, well, I won't say nobody, but a lot of people they're not deciding I'm going to love this person despite any flaws they may have. You know, obviously not every flaw is created equal. This is exactly why I would never believe every sin is created equal. Not all flaws are created equal. So, of course, if there are things that can't be worked on, or if it's something, you know, we all have deal breakers. I'm no different. So those types of things, it just is what it is. But like, I think one thing that many of us do is we may see a problem or something we find to be a problem in somebody and feel like we can fix it. And when we learn that we can't, then we leave. Rather than just accepting this person that way from the jump and telling ourselves like, well, if it improves, great, but this is who they are and I love them despite that. Like, if you're expecting to see a change from this person and that's your goal going into, like, you should have never gotten that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Or even started.
I agree. I mean, I think, of course, going back to what you say, it depends on the thing that feels difficult to accept. But a lot of times, people find it difficult to accept other people when they have their own challenges around self-acceptance.
Right.
And that's why going back to when you take breaks in between interacting with people, you know, I'm such a big self-love ambassador. Like, one of the biggest things about self-love is learning to just practice unapologetic, radical acceptance of yourself. You know, your light, your darkness, your shadows, everything in between. And I find like for most people, the more accepting and tender and gentle that they can be with themselves, the more forgiving and open that they are and accepting that they are of other people. Because everyone has their own process and journey, right? And so when it comes to a relationship, you know, there are people who just are petty and they don't give a fuck about you and they are abusive and they have toxic behaviors and they're really bad communicators and they don't care to improve. We're not talking about those people.
Right.
If it's all that stuff, cool, yeah, like let that go, especially if they don't want to change, if they don't see that there's space to change and they think like they're okay and they have like no idea of self-awareness or any type of accountability.
Right.
But for people who are like trying and they're just like falling, or they're apologetic, or they're just not getting it, or maybe they're just a little bit slower, then yeah, that is problematic. If you're like, okay, nah, you're not acting like how I want you to act, when I want you to act, how I want you to act in the time span, then I'm leaving you. Like, that's wrong.
Now, I'm going to give you a somewhat of a I guess maybe cause and effect type of thing as it pertains to this whole thing. I have battled with how long is acceptable to be in the talking stage with somebody before you make things official or decide that you don't want to, right? I'm the type to just stay in the moment for as long or until I know one way or the other. And sometimes it takes a long time. But I refuse to commit when I'm uncertain. And
Good idea.
And the thing is like, why I feel like it relates to this is because I'm talking about what we see, what somebody knows from the beginning. Is like, oh, you want this person to change, da 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 da. But what about those things that we find out later that end up being like, ooh, like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
Had I known this.
Yeah, had I known this, it might not, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how come I think you can't put a cap on how long you're talking to somebody so much. I mean, maybe, obviously, like if I'm involved with you for like a year or something like that and we're not going anywhere or whatever, maybe even like 6 months. But it's like I can take 6 months and really feel you out before I decide, okay, I think I want to do this.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. So I'm going to be honest. If I take that long, that means I have been on the rocks for sure.
Yeah.
Like it had been like, I'm not sure. There are people who from the very beginning, sometimes they just have something about them. And you're like, man, this person is like, she could be it, you know? That doesn't happen often for me, but it happens sometimes. But I just feel like you can't take too much time usually. Obviously, like I said, 6 months to a year, maybe that might be a while. But like if you up to like 2 to 5 to 6 months, I don't feel like that's too much time to make sure you know somebody well enough that you want to, because I mean, at the end of the day, what's your goal in dating? If I'm trying to be with you for the rest of my life, then, because I don't date, but like again, if I'm going to be with you,
intention matters.
Yeah. If I'm going to date you and be exclusive with you, that means that I would hope that you're somebody I could one day see myself getting on one knee for.
Right. But you have a lot of people who are not marriage focused.
Right.
Nowadays, right. So like, that's a whole nother thing that we didn't even get on. Like there are a lot of people that like, I mean, I'm in this Facebook group and it comes up all the time that men think that a lot of men in this group don't think that marriage benefits men.
Right. Ooh.
Like they think it benefits women more than men, but research shows that marriage actually benefits men more than it does women.
Why so?
I gotta push back on you on that one.
Why?
I haven't done the research, so I just want to know.
Anyways, I mean, the number one thing is men that are married, their health expectancy is increased because most of the time it's women that are helping them, you know, manage their health stuff, getting them to the doctors, getting them to healthcare providers, things of that nature. Women are expected to do things that decrease men's stress, so that helps them continue to keep going. Men get serviced a lot in marriages more than marriages are centered around women getting service. So like there's a lot of benefits.
Well,
my thing in the background.
Look. Yes. My thing. This is my question.
No. My whole point was just going back to what you're saying is that you said, okay, if I'm dating this woman and I'm like, oh yeah, she might be somebody I want to get on one knee with. Well, you're in a totally different category because a lot of men don't want to get married nowadays.
Trust me, sometimes I don't think I do.
There's a lot of women who don't want to get married.
Can I tell you why though? Can I tell you why?
Hold on, before you tell it, what I was gonna say was my question to what you were saying as far as the benefits is, I mean, maybe this wasn't, you didn't intend on this, but like my thing is like, you don't have to be married for these things to happen, for these things to occur. You could just,
which is why a lot of men don't think like I need to get married.
Yeah,
right? But you know, it depends on the level of commitment that some women have, right? For them, marriage is a different type of commitment than if I'm not married to you, right? And it just depends on the circumstance. I mean, you have,
if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it type thing.
Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of women who get value from being married. There's a lot of women who get valued from getting a ring. I mean, you guys can just look on social media and look how proud women are.
Yeah, when
to,
I said yes.
Ring. Okay, I'm a fiance. You don't hear
and then
men going around talking about I'm a fiance.
Every story.
I'm a fiance, and it's like
every story be like
right. It's
with
like,
the ring and
and I'm not saying it's bad in any kind of way, right? But for a lot of women, because that's something that they've always wanted, maybe they get so much emotional value out of that type of validation that somebody would want to commit to me for the rest of my life.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. If and when the day comes that I become engaged, I will be like that. I'll be crying my eyes out. Like, I will.
I have to address this, though. Because we have to be realistic about the climate that we're in relationships, okay? More times than not, unfortunately, marriages are not lasting, okay? Mm-hmm. Here's the way that I see marriage. Marriage benefits a man if the state is not involved, okay? Because if a woman is willing to marry a man without the state involved, that clearly is telling you that she wants to actually marry you for you. Mm-hmm. And is in it for the long term and not with this safety net of, well, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to get half. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what I'm saying. That's what I have a problem with in today's climate. And we see it countless times again. Obviously, we don't know about these relationships on the internal, but when we see headlines of women clearly trying to take advantage of a man for what he has and what he's built because she's divorcing him, someone told me, wise man once said, there is nothing more irrational than a bitter, hurt woman. Mm-hmm. Okay? And when women get hurt and when they're going through a divorce and they're breaking up with a man, they will go to the ends of the earth to make sure that they even the score in their mind to make sure that they have accounted for all the hurt that they've been through.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to challenge that.
Okay. Please do.
People like to romanticize this concept that behind every great man is a great woman. Mm-hmm. So if a man amasses a ton of wealth and a ton of success, how much do you think his wife impacted the type of person he was to be able to show up and be successful?
So let me make a discrepancy on that. I'm not talking about the men that have.
A lot of times, woman created a lot of emotional, mental, and spiritual space for that man to show up in his life that way. So that is a reason why women say, I'm going to take half, because if it was not for me, you wouldn't be who you were. It's the emotional labor that women do that people don't see. It's I had to stick up. I had to stay up and deal with this. I had to be pushed through this. I had to be pulled through this. I had to love on you when nobody would. I had to be here, this, that, and the other. So a lot of times the bitterness is not just because you have this, what you have. It's also because there's a lot of emotional labor and physical sacrifice that a woman had to go through. So for them, that is them getting back all the effort that they exerted.
But so like, prenups are a huge thing, okay? Look, I will never be okay with women like Dr. Dre's now ex-wife. I don't care what she has done. She did not create Dr. Dre.
Did this girl say $2 million a month or $2 million a week? What was it? The figure?
Whatever it is way too damn high.
It was excessive.
It's way too high, and that's where it's like, why are you feeling so entitled? Like, you can give me all the stuff you just said, the emotional, the physical, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then let me take care of you. Let me make sure you're taken care of.
But why?
But all that excessive stuff? Nah, girl, I'm going to place you in a 1-bedroom apartment or whatever you need. Maybe a 2-bedroom. So if our kids got to come, or, our kid got to come visit, they got a room.
You know what? This conversation could go on forever because, to be honest, most of the shit that men do is to fucking impress women and to get women any fucking way. So by the time they fucking get what they want, then they be like, oh no, you want me for my money. Motherfucker, this is what you did it all for. What are you saying?
No, this is true. Now, that would never be me because I fear that. I fear being like
Are you
notable.
telling me that men are not driven by
Oh,
validation
definitely.
from women.
Oh
Absolutely.
no, definitely,
Okay.
Absolutely.
definitely.
No,
definitely.
we're not disagreeing.
But I want to be like, I mean, call me a sensitive brother, but I want to be validated for the right reasons.
No, I get it, right?
You know what I'm
but
saying?
it's just like this thing of like, you know, certain, let's just say public figures want to, oh yeah, I get this bitches and I get this and I do this and da 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 da. Okay, so then you get with a woman and then you call her a gold digger. This is all you were promoting with everything that you had and what you can do and buy a woman. So
I
then
don't.
She's taking you up on the offer and she's
I
a
feel
gold
you.
digger.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
That's fair.
And then
I
you
would never
fucking
be the
marry
type.
her and now she takes half your shit and now she's really a whole bunch of names.
No,
Hey,
but see,
I
I'm
feel
not.
you on that.
Let me just say
That
this.
doesn't make any sense.
Let me say that's a fair point, and that's the thing is, I just want consistency. I don't like
She was consistent
no,
when you
look.
met her on the pole. What you mean?
No. I hear you. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying from the opposite perspective, right? I feel like women choose when they want to be independent or not. Okay?
Yeah.
Women will get in a relationship, be like,
This is
I don't
true.
need a man. I got my own money. I got my own shit. I don't
This
need
needs
your.
to be a part
Nah,
too.
listen.
Definitely needs to be a
Of course,
part
I mean,
Listen, we can have
yeah.
it, but I'm just saying, women pick and choose when they want to claim that they're independent and don't need a man. But as soon as the relationship is over and they ready to get a divorce, oh, I'm gonna take everything he got. I'm
Yep.
all of a sudden this vulnerable person that needs
Can't
someone
survive
to
on
take
my
care
own.
of me.
Y'all
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even hear what I said.
No, I hear
it's
you.
It's not even about the I can't do for myself.
It's about what I did when I was there.
Taxing you for the shit that I had to deal with. That's what that is. It has nothing to do with them not feeling like they can't take care of themselves.
But
It's tax.
I feel like,
emotional tax. Most
like
of
I
the time
said,
it is.
the excessive numbers do not, because you got to take into account, it's not like the man was literally doing nothing to take care of you in that relationship.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it. If it's like you're literally scratching this man's back, washing his balls and all the above, and he's doing nothing for you the whole time you're together. But it's not like that. Like, you are where you are in life because of, like, if you're not, for example, Dr. Dre's ex-wife, if you're not married to Dr. Dre or some other celebrity, where are you? Are you living in a mansion?
Hell no.
No.
So you're living the good life, the high life.
Because of
and then
his talent.
Because of his talent. And then you get mad and want to take half of everything he got?
Yeah. I'm
Like,
sorry.
come on, man.
You not genuine about it. Like, that's not genuine to me.
And,
because
and if you cared about him.
Yeah.
If you
that's what I'm
genuinely
saying.
cared about him.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
We just gonna see this different. Listen, my thing is I'm not a revengeful person.
Mm-hmm.
However, I understand what drives revenge.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have been in relationships where people did really things that I didn't even tell people that they knew that they did because they would see these people differently.
Right.
I'm just not a revengeful person. I feel like you gonna get your shit. And
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
need to lift a finger. I don't need to cuss you out. I don't need to degrade you. So I've never been that kind of person. But I get why people are driven by rage and anger and taking it out on somebody. What I know is that women don't always see money the same way that a man does, you know. And so that's why I'm saying a lot of that, for some people it is, yeah, I'm gonna come up, but for a lot of people it's more than just like the physical piece of it. It really is like an emotional, spiritual thing. And for someone who's been married for 20, 25 years, and if it also just didn't end amicably and there was a lot of shit that went down, that is emotional tax. And I'm not saying it's not excessive, because I do think a lot of times these alimony things are like totally excessive, you know, but I get it.
I'm just tired of women claiming they need money for child support.
Can
and
we
it
talk
be-
about Holly Berry's ex who fucking gets like $40,000 a fucking month? Are you serious? It's not only women that do it.
Nah, I
That's
wouldn't
true,
say
that's
it's
fair.
on. Look, I ain't go that far. Dude.
right.
I ain't gonna say it's only women, but
I never said it.
but
was
I
all
just
women.
think anybody in that
I think it's anybody. yeah.
anybody in that position,
I just think it's weak in general, whether you're a man
it's
or a
weak.
woman.
It's weak.
Like,
Be independent. Be independent. If you want to be on your
stand
own,
on your own stuff.
if you want to be on your own, be able to take care of yourself. Period. But
Yeah, some people are just not emotionally mature enough to walk away from ended relationships from that place. So I agree with you that yes, you can continue to be self-sufficient, but you know, people who get hurt.
Right.
Before we end it, I want to ask both of y'all a question. We could all answer. What's one thing that you guys think you could get better at as far as dating?
Dating less. No, seriously though. Honestly, probably getting more in touch with myself to find what I have to offer more. I do feel like I have a lot to offer already, but I haven't reached my potential, you know? And so I think with all that I have going on and where my head is at, it's like, I don't know if I'm seeing dating as what I should be seeing it as in order to accomplish something special with somebody, you know, like.
Right.
So I may need to just, you know,
Chill out.
evaluate myself a little more and just chill, take some time to myself, and, you know, we'll visit it later.
What about you, Miss Independent Rat?
You know, I don't do I'm a self-sufficient and very fulfilled person. So
Yeah.
I think for me, you know, I've had this thing like, if you can't match my own efforts that I bring from myself, like I'm not gonna let you deplete. You either have to like match or add. So I think that, you know, I try to guesstimate maybe too much, right?
Overthinker.
So you're an overthinker.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, she's definitely overthinker.
I mean, like I said, I have a very full life.
Yeah.
This is
You have a
gonna
lot
sound
going
horrible. I can't be with a basic person. I just can't. So if you give me very basic vibes, like, I'm not probably gonna think like we'll do well. And I just say that because I don't want you to think that I'm choosing my life over you.
But you
Because
should.
don't have anything, right?
Right?
But I also don't want you to get so consumed in me that you don't have your own stuff, right? And so with everything that I do in the fullness of my being, like, I just need you to have that fullness. And if I'm not getting vibes that you have fullness, like, I'm probably not going to give you a chance. So just probably kind of coming down off of that a little bit, but I don't really know how to get there. So, you know, we just see how that flows.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know me. So
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Self-awareness is key.
I'll be honest. I'll be getting into fixing business too much, man. I think something that you said earlier kind of spoke to me a little bit as far as, like, you know, the acceptance of someone's flaws, right? And not obviously loving them past their flaws. And I don't know if you said
that was me,
yeah,
bro.
No, I had mentioned the people who have hard times accepting other people.
Right.
Accepting themselves.
I think, I don't know, man. It's like in my nature, just feel like I got to fix everything. You know what I mean? So it goes towards my own life, my own issues, my own shortcomings, and it trickles down into other people's stuff too, which is why I be getting in other people's business, feeling like I got to help him, I got to help you, I got to help her. Like, it just doesn't matter who it is. I always feel like I got to fix it. Yeah. So I think just being a little more accepting and reserved of other people's journey to where they're gonna get to eventually. Like, it's not my job to push you into that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel you, and that's part of my challenge is if I don't think that you have the space to match me, I don't want to try to fix you or try to pull you into my life or try to, like, bring these interests to you.
Right.
I'm just going to see where you are and leave it there. But the truth is there are people who meet people and they develop interests and they shift. And
it's a fine line.
I was going to say, there's a fine line, bro, because
yeah.
you can, I mean, at the end of the day, what is one thing that most people who want to do better in life say they want in a partner? They want somebody who pushes them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
yes, but you can push too hard.
You can. So I was just about to say, you don't want somebody who pushes you too hard, but you want somebody who supports you. So I think that something that a lot of people.
I feel like sometimes I cross that line more often than I want to.
The thing is with somebody who you're pushing, you also want to take time to let them know that they're doing well too.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just always be pushing them, making them feel like what they're doing isn't good enough,
right?
But never showing them that you see their progress. Or see that, you know, what they are doing is good. And, you know, just rather than that push being it's because you're not good enough, it's that push being because I see the potential in you and I want you to be the best you can be. And them understanding that, you know, it's all on your approach, you know. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's a good
way to end it, man.
Yeah, man, we've been talking forever.
I knew this was gonna have a part two, though.
Bro, probably we could talk dating forever, man. Yeah. I love the topic because it's always nice to get into the mind of a woman. Yeah. There was no way we could have done this episode without having an intelligent woman who can give us her perspective. So, thank you for coming on, Tiffany Wright. If you haven't seen the first episode with her on it, be sure to check that out, and you'll get a much wider glimpse of what she does for a living, her books and things like that, her podcast. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. It was very entertaining, I'm sure.
Got a little spicy.
Yeah. But honestly, we enjoyed having it. So if you didn't, forget you. No, I'm just playing. But nah, that's it for us. So we out.